guys, it's your girl Kate back with another video. And I haven't been back in this room in a long time, y'all. Y'all know I've been recording in my room, so being back in this room is just giving me the old time feels for the old videos. But as y'all can see by today's title, what today's video is going to be about and how y'all like the hair. I'm trying something new. I don't usually do hairstyles like this, but how y'all liking it? Because I don't really know how to feel about it. This video is long overdue, but I'm gonna make it now and give the content out to y'all and let y'all know what's up and what's going on, because I'm pretty sure y'all wanna know, right? Y'all wanna know what's going on. So before we get into this video, go ahead and give it a like, comment, and subscribe. Also, thank y'all for 700 subscribers. We reached 700 subscribers. Yay, yay, and yay. 300 more to go, y'all, and we are at 1K. So let's run it up, and I promise, if y'all do y'all part, I will do my part. If y'all share, subscribe, like, comment, you know, keep watching, watch the full videos. I will post consistently. I will post consistently if y'all do that, okay? If y'all do y'all part, I'm gonna do my part. Period, okay? So without further ado, let's get in the video. Yeah. First thing first, I'm not gonna start from the exact day. I'm gonna start from the day before. Okay, so the day before, which was August 10th, I had an appointment with the doctor, of course, because I was going every week now. So I had an appointment. Then my doctor ended up giving me a paper to get induced at I think it was 37 weeks, 37 weeks, 37 or 38 weeks, 38 weeks, I think, 38 weeks. Yeah, so for me to get induced, the day was August 19th that I was supposed to get induced, right? Okay, boom. So that's just that. Let me take y'all back a little bit further, right? So during my pregnancy, I don't know if I ever said this in any of my videos or not, but I was having contractions early. I was having contractions early, like 20-some weeks. I started having contractions and stuff like that. I went to the doctor, like the emergency room, the assessment center emergency room, plenty of times, like plenty. When I tell you plenty, I mean plenty. I went plenty of times, like a lot of times. There was 2 scares where I thought I was in labor. One because I thought my water broke and it didn't. And then the second time I was having really bad contractions, which they ended up telling me was not even contractions. So it was confusing, especially the first time. You don't know nothing about that. So when I was actually, we're gonna get into that. But yeah, they told me that it wasn't even contractions. So moving back to August 10th, right? So I got the induction date for August 19th. So we was excited, we was happy. It was like, yay, we get that. When she took me, I was still 1 centimeter. I became 1 centimeter at 35 weeks, I think. 34, 35 weeks, I became 1 centimeter. I was 1 centimeter for the longest, y'all. When I tell you for the longest, I was 1 centimeter. But that's how I knew I was actually having real contractions, because I became 1 centimeter. So when she checked me, she was like, "Ooh, baby, head is low." Baby was already low. One time we went to the assessment, that's what they call it, y'all, the assessment center, but it's basically like the ER. You know, into the ER, basically they were always saying that his head was low, that he was down, that he was low, you know. Which I already knew that because I feel it, like I'm feeling the pressure, okay? But yeah, I was 1 centimeter for the longest. So when I became 1 centimeter, yes, I started trying to induce myself, like induce my own labor at home. So I was bouncing on the ball. I tried tea, the little raspberry tea. I tried eating hot stuff. You didn't say about that. That's one time I thought I went into actual labor. I ate 2 hot spices back to back from McDonald's, and that night I started hurting really, really bad with cramps. But they told me that it was not contractions or whatever, so I was like, cool, whatever. Boom. Moving on. So I was doing all that to try to induce my labor. All the things that they tell you to do to induce your labor, I did. Except the castor oil. I did everything but the castor oil, okay? And the midwives brew and the pizza. I did everything else. I promise you, everything else. So then, I don't know if any of that actually worked and helped me induce my labor, because that day when I came home, I didn't try to induce my labor anymore because I already had an induction day. So I was like, I was cool and I was chilling. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to have a baby on the 19th, yay. And we all excited, like, yeah, he's coming on the 19th. Tell everybody we're gonna have a baby on the 19th. Then we get home and I'm good. I'm making TikToks and I'm chilling and I'm fine, right? I'm fine. So let me tell you what I did eat. I did eat pork and beans. Okay, I decided to make me some pork and beans. I was craving pork and beans really, really bad. And I'm like, but I craved pork and beans a lot during my pregnancy, okay? But I had pork and beans and I wanted pork and beans so much, like so bad, that I had to just make me some. Like I had to make me some pork and beans. So yeah, I ate my pork and beans. I went to sleep. And the crazy thing was, it was what to expect. The little chats, the lady was talking about how she woke up feeling cramps and stuff and she, went into labor. Well, y'all, okay, so I went to sleep, right? I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, the cramps that I was having, they woke me up on my sleep, like they were that bad. But I was able to tolerate them. Like, I have a good pain tolerance, a really good pain tolerance, but it's like, it woke me up on my sleep, I wasn't crying then or nothing. Like, I was taking it, but it just hurt. It hurt. So, and now I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, ow, moaning and groaning because I'm like, ow, it hurts. Meanwhile, I'm on the phone with with my boyfriend, and y'all, he was still asleep though, so I still kept moaning and groaning, so it's like I felt like I had to do the number 2. Like I had to do the number 2, right? And so I got up and I went to the bathroom, and then I'm doing it, but it was like diarrhea, and it was coming out like that, and I'm like, ugh. So I'm like, maybe it's just my stomach irritated by something that I ate. Like, she's not it. Well, let me tell y'all, before I got up out the bed, I forgot to tell y'all this. Before I got up out the bed, I leaned up and it was like something came out of me, but I thought it was pee. Yeah, I thought I just peed on myself. So I was like, okay, let me just go to the bathroom. Blah, blah, blah. Went to the bathroom, went on the toilet, and it was like, yeah. It wasn't extreme then, but the pain was hurting. So when it stopped for a little minute, I went lay back down and started back again. And so then by that time, my boyfriend had woke up because he heard me sitting there moaning and grunting and stuff. And I'm like, ow, 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 ow. And he was like, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm having really bad cramps. And so he was like, okay, you think you need to go? I'm like, no, I don't need to go. I'm not going because they're just going to send me home. And then he was like, well, is it contractions? And I'm like, I don't know. It just feels like period cramps. And he was like, you need to tell him. And I'm like, no, because if it's not really contractions, I said, this is what I was feeling last time. And they told me that it was not contractions. And so I was like, I'm not finna time it. But yeah, so I went back in the bathroom. And dude, at the same cycle of number 2, and I'm thinking I'm doing number 1 and number 2. I'm sitting there on the toilet, y'all, just sitting there in pain, just ow, 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 holding on to the wall like this. I'm not crying or nothing, but I'm hurting, like really, really, really hurting, wanting to cry, but I'm hurting, but I'm not crying. So all I'm thinking, I'm never, like, being in labor never crossed my mind. I'm just like, oh my goodness, I'm hurting so bad. Like, these cramps are so bad. Then after a while, they started to get a little bit worse and more intense. And then I'm like, I'm gonna have this baby on this toilet. So he kept asking me if I wanted to go, and I'm like, no, because I'm not sure if it's the real deal. So then I text my mom. She was up, okay. I text my mom and I'm like, I'm about to have this baby on the toilet. And she was like, what you mean you about to have the baby on the toilet? I'm like, I don't know if I'm in labor or not, but if I am, I'm gonna have him on this toilet. Because I tried to get up and walk around, but the moment I tried to get up, I had to sit back down because the pain was just that extreme. Baby's crying if y'all hear him. So let me hurry up with this video. So basically, yes, that's what happened. She ended up telling me to go ahead and go to the hospital. I went ahead to the hospital. I did have a little slight bleeding, but I just thought that it was from me getting checked the day before, because that's what they told me. That can happen. So that's what I did, blah, blah, blah. So he ended up taking me or whatever. I'm packing all my stuff. In the car, I'm having them, and I'm like, okay, yes, okay, of course, this is contractions. So I'm telling myself, okay, like these are like 5 minutes apart, but they're getting closer together. So I'm like, okay, this is for sure contractions, right? Because they will come and they will go. Come and they will go. Come and they will go. Finally make it there. They check me. She's like, you're bleeding. That's a good sign. And she was like, you're 3 centimeters. That's another good sign. And she was like, you're in labor. She's like, did your water break? And I'm like, I don't know. And so they brought in another nurse to check me and see if my water broke. And so happened it did. So the whole time I'm thinking I'm peeing, my water broke. Crazy. So yeah, the whole time I thought I was peeing, my water ended up breaking. And I didn't even know it. So that's that. They moved me to labor and delivery. This was all like in between. I probably got to the hospital around like 8, 10 maybe. 8 or 10 o'clock is what time I probably got to the hospital. They did not give me, they gave me Pitocin, I think, but I was already moving. Can you not? I was already moving, like dilating on my own, but they gave me Pitocin. And then on top of that, I was already dealing pain because for some reason it was taking forever to go ahead and give me the epidural. So I ended up getting my epidural eventually. I couldn't feel anything. By 12, if I'm not mistaken, by 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, around that time, by 12 o'clock, I ended up being 10 centimeters dilated. But I didn't start pushing yet until my mother came. We was all waiting for my mama. The doctors and the nurses was all waiting for my mama. I remember this lady with everything. Her name was Jessica. That was my nurse. Jessica, if you ever see this, thank you so much. I love you because you were the best. Yeah, so she made my whole experience just great, amazing, and beautiful. But yeah, she waited on my mama to get there because everything was fine with him. But we waited on my mom. My mom ended up getting there. And then they tried to help me start practice pushing. So I started practice pushing. But she noticed that every time that I pushed, that his heart rate would drop. So we stopped. And then she seen how close his head was down. She was like, hey, no, we're going to stop. So when everybody came in, my doctor was not there. So I ended up having another doctor to come in. When she came in, we started right away, started pushing. But then they started to realize that me pushing on my own, like I was pushing, but his heart rate would drop every time that I would push. So they ended up having to use the vacuum to get him out. And then he was delivered at 2:45, y'all. Everything basically went so fast. Like I started having contractions at 5, got to the hospital around 8. It was 3 centimeters when I got there. Then like over time, I progressed into 10 centimeters by 12 o'clock. You do the math. You do the math. Ended up having him by 2:45. You do the math, okay? So I didn't start pushing until like 2 o'clock. 2 or 1 o'clock. So yeah, crazy, I know. So basically, I think we counted it up. My labor was like really 9 hours. That was it. And everybody was in there just like, dang, that was so quick. Like this crazy how fast that went. I'm like, yeah, I know. But I couldn't feel anything, y'all. I was epidural up. I gave myself 2 doses of it. And I couldn't feel a thing. And I tell you a thing, I couldn't feel a thing. I did tear, secondary tear. But yeah, he was born at 2:45 on August 11th. And that was my labor and delivery start time. It was really crazy, actually. If I would have just stayed home, y'all, would have been having my baby in this house. So that's all for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna go get my baby from my mother now because he's still crying. So if y'all like to, give a thumbs up and subscribe. And that's all for this video, guys. Peace.